Okay, this is, let me get this close. This is chapter 10, the nations descended from Noah, through the whole chapter 10. Now, this is the genealogy of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and sons were born to them after the flood. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tobal, Mesrich, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Eliza, Tarshish, Kittim, and Dod-Anim. From these, the coastline peoples of the Gentiles were separated into their lands, everyone according to his language, according to their families, and to their nations. So this kind of says that even with all these children, they all had their own language, and which formed that way. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havith, Sabat, Rama, and Shepatek. And the sons of Rama were Seba and Dedan. So, even though in the previous chapter we found out that one of the sons, Ham, was Canaan, he also had 3 other sons. And like most things, you can only presume that he had daughters and everything. Okay, verse 8. Cush begot Nimrod. He began to be a mighty one on the earth. He was a mighty hunter before the Lord. Therefore it is said, like Nimrod, the mighty hunter before the Lord, and the beginning of his kingdom was Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh, in the land of Shinar. From the land he went to Azra and built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Ir. Okay, I don't know how to pronounce that. Kala and Rezin between Nineveh and Kala. That is the principal city. Okay, let's look down from at least 8, but at least verse 9 to 12. Is there any? Well, they don't have verse 12, but it starts at 11:10. It says, chapter 10, 7, 11. The sons of Cush include infamous Nimrod. The description of him as a mighty hunter before the Lord suggests great arrogance. Like Lamech, the descendant of Cain, his infamy was proverbial. His territory was in the lands of the east, the fabled ancient cities of Mesopotamia. These include Babel, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. The term Akkad supplies the name of the language of ancient Babylon, and Assyria and Akkadian. The prophet Micah would later use the name Nimrod to describe the region of Israel, which would come under God's judgment. Okay, so he apparently did a lot of bad stuff and everything. I hope in further chapters we could find out what exactly. Okay, verse 13. Mizraim begot Lodium, Anamim, Libium, Naphtalium, Path, Rosium, and Calcium, from whom came 2 Palestines and Caphtorium. Canaan begot Siddim, his firstborn, and Heth, the Jebusites, the Amorite, and the Gergasite, the Havite, the Arkanite, and the Sinite, the Arvadite, the Ariite, and the Hamathite. Afterward, the families of the Canaanites were dispersed. Wow, there's a lot of groups that come from that one family. Um, uh, and the border of the Canaanites was from Sidon as you go towards Gerar. And as far as Gaza, then you go toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Amada, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. These were sons of Ham according to their families, according to the languages in the lands and in their nations. So it's basically saying that all these different places start off at these locations, but as the next one comes, that's where all these families spread out and everything across the whole lands, and that's a lot of places. And it sounds like, however they got there, it created these roads to these places. And children were born to Shem, the father of the children of Eber, the brother of Japheth the elder. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hul, Gather, and Mash. Aphex begot Salon, and Salon begot Ember. It was okay. To Ember were born two sons. The name of one was Peleg, and for in his days the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Joktan. Joktan begot Amod, Saveth, Hazar, Mavith, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzzah, Dikla, Obal, Abiel, Sheba. Man, these are a lot of names I can't pronounce. I'm trying my best, okay. Verse 29. Ophir, Havilah, and Jarbah. All these were the sons of Joktan. He had a lot of kids, sons alone. And their dwelling places was from Manasseh as you go towards Sephar, the mountains of the east. These were the sons of Shem according to their families, according to their languages, and the lands according to their nations. These were the families of the sons Noah, according to the generations and their nations, and from these nations were divided on the earth after the flood. Now, biggest question that I know a lot of people got is like, why don't they talk about their daughters? And honestly, if let's just say that for the most part, these guys were only having sons. That's it. They weren't having daughters. Where are the girls coming from? Honestly. Now, some of them genealogies say, oh yeah, they had daughters, but they don't have them listed. On that, say some have daughters, but some don't. They don't even make mention of it. Well, if the ones that don't even make mention of this daughter having daughters or not, they say they don't. Well, those sons are going to be having sex with their cousins, great aunt cousins, whatever, or they're going to be having sex with their own sisters, okay, to have all these kids. Well, if for those who are watching this that don't know anything about genes and people, if you have sex, if people in families have enough sex with each other, the kids are going to get messed up. Okay, physically and most especially mentally. If you watch Game of Thrones, the Joffrey kid, he was kind of a tyrant in his own way. He's really messed up in the head. And there's actually people like that. There's Egyptians, the royalties, the kings and queens. They had sex with their own siblings. And even in England, I believe, the kings and queens of Europe, they kept it in their family. Like, it could be their distant cousin. Like, both of them, they have the common ancestry is a great-grandparent or a great-great-grandparent. That's how they're related and all that. And some of you guys are like, whoa, they're related by a great-great-grandparent or great-grandparent. I think they'll be fine. Well, even then, it kind of gets messed up in the kid, okay? Honestly. So, we got a bunch of things like that, and we're honestly, granted, we are talking in the Bible following certain people, and that's it, and everything. And a lot of the whole things I was talking about, certain people, including mainly the males, of this family, like of Noah's and everything, we're trying to say, hey, okay, we're giving you a broad picture now. Okay, giving you a broad picture of this family genealogy, uh, the descendants and everything, because we're going to talk about these individuals here and there, all these cousins, all this other stuff, because we want you to know like how they're related to each other and everything. So that's, I think, why all of this is put in here, because we're trying to get you to know, like, hey, these people, this is how they're related, and all this other stuff. And they do kind of go back, like I said, with Ham. Like in a previous chapter, we already know one of his sons was Canaan, and now we know what his other three sons were called, and their descendants and everything. That's that for this video.